computer.
Cool. So we are live. Hello, Janice. How's everything?
Yo, well, it's been wild, but I'm good. I'm good. I hope you're good as well.
Since we recorded. So yeah, today I have like one simple topic, but I think it's very common between like creators, and it's perfectionism and how to beat it, right? Because for me as a creator, perfectionism, I think two things, but the first thing is perfectionism was one of the things that put more like the brakes on, let's say, my creator career, if you want to call it that, because obviously I was seeing the content from other people more experienced and so on, and I was saying, oh, super cool, I want to do that. And then I try to replicate that, and obviously the results are not the same because I don't have the experience or anything. So that's one thing that perfectionism doesn't allow you to do, is to like just it's easier to get started when you can beat perfectionism. So I want to hear from you, a bit of your experience with perfectionism, because I think you have like a bit of experience like with it and beating it too. So yeah, I just want to hear a bit from you in that end.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Yeah, perfectionism is quite near and dear to me. Been struggling with it for a while, but I don't know. I think the perspective I have on perfectionism is I don't necessarily look it as a super evil thing, because I think in general what we mostly hear is this demonizing perfectionism, that it's really bad and we need to beat it, we need to crush it, and so on. But I think if we like zoom out a bit, of course there is a lot of bad things comes from perfectionism, but at the same time I think we need to kind of, if we feel that we struggle with perfectionism and so on, we kind of need to, I think, acknowledge that this kind of means that I want to put out good work, I don't want to put out crap, and that's a good thing. It's not like,
yeah,
it's not all bad, and I think we should look at it as a thing that makes us strive to do better work and so on, and that's not bad. But of course, there's always this magical balance, when you are like justifying your own bullshit and you are not doing anything and not moving forward at all in the sake of I want to make it perfect. So you need to have this some sort of self-awareness where you are like, okay, I'm clearly not not like dealing with this properly, and then you need to start to make some sort of constraints or whatever. But yeah, that was kind of one thing which I wanted to just to tell, that if you struggle with perfectionism, don't beat yourself up, don't think that it's something super bad and so on. It means you want to produce good work in a sense, and look at it from that angle. But just how, on maybe talking a bit about, I know I'm all over the place, but talking a bit about how I kind of dealt with it was, one really helpful thing was that when I started kind of my visual career, I kind of understood that, okay, this is a direction where I want to go. I think I really like it. I think people will like appreciate this as well. I see that there is a market for it and so on. Let's go, let's do these visuals, let's see where it goes. And the big, very good commitment I made was that I had this friend, which I had this deal where basically each of us did some sort of physical exercises, and if we didn't do that day, we sent each other €1 just as a penalty. So there was this external accountability. And like for the next year, for the upcoming year, I said, I want to add to my part of the thing, I want to add that I need to post one visual a day. If I will not post one visual a day, then I need to send him like €1. And that was very helpful constraint to have, that helped me kind of push through. And what I've noticed, because previously I was really in this perfectionist bubble as well, you're really scared to put it out. You think like, if I will publish this, like, if it will be bad, like all like the world will go crashing on me and so on. It will be extremely bad. And what I've noticed after consistently publishing, after a while, I kind of started to know, okay, it's not that big of a deal. Actually people don't care that much. If I make a mistake, I can like make it better later on, and so on. So, okay, that's a bit of my rant. I still have some ideas to share, but maybe you can kind of fill in the gaps and share a bit your perspective, and then I can add something as well.
Yeah, I think you nailed the thing where, perfectionism is not really, doesn't need to be a bad thing either. So it means that you want to put quality content outside, but at the same time, it doesn't need to be the excuse for not putting things because you are trying to make it perfect, right? So it's kind of finding this balance between, I want to put it out and make like good content or good whatever you are doing, but at the same time, I don't need, I can't let that, not make me do it, because otherwise. So it's finding that balance, and it's not easy at all, because obviously we always want to do the best possible work, but at the same time, I think the other day I wrote in my newsletter something about finding like what's the minimum daily content unit that you can put out. If you can kind of figure that out, then everything will be easier. So yeah, that's my take on that. That I think it's a really great point that you made, and I love the thought about the accountability partner. I think that's a great way to actually beat perfectionism, in the sense of, yeah, having someone that pushes you to do it, because maybe you do the thing, you feel it's not so good or whatever, but then you need to put it out, because otherwise you need to pay like €1 or $1 or whatever. So I think that's a great motivator and a good antidote for the perfectionism monster. So that's super cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I think another idea which I just remember that I try to share here and there is the fact that we need to understand, like if we are talking about content publishing and so on, we need to understand what are we publishing. Are we publishing a book that will end up in bookshelves and be printed in thousands of copies, or we are talking about tweet that will be forgotten about a day or two, and
Exactly.
so on. And there is a big difference between these two. Of
True.
course, for the book, spend more time, bounce with a couple of people, try to understand if people get it and so on. But if we are talking about simple tweet or whatever,
Yeah,
just ship it and improve it later on. That's
there is like this visual, and I don't think I saw you do it or someone else, but I think it's pretty like a common idea. And it's like this big circle, and it's like you thinking about them, and then there is like a super small circle like them thinking about you. So that's another way to, okay, I don't need to make it like every time perfect, because people don't think about you at all. And that's a good thing, for me. That's a good thing to remember.
Yeah, I think that was the visual I made, and it was like there is this circle where it's written inside of that circle, there's written what people appreciate in our work, and then there is some sort of little circle somewhere far away what we focus on perfecting. And yeah, I think it's very true, because mostly, I was usually what people obsess about, especially in the visual type of things, colors, fonts, different weird little things that nobody really pays attention to. The main idea, is the idea. Is it like communicated and so on? No, if you are trying to communicate it is ideas, if you're not making some sort of just fancy art or something like that. And that's a very important thing to understand. I think I often have had these experience where I have posted either irregular layout or some sort of lines don't match up, some stupid shit which I noticed later on, and I understand I'm the only one who sees that. Nobody cares. Everybody, if the idea was good, it's like going viral or whatever. So those things really, pay attention to what are you trying to perfect, and probably you are trying to perfect something that only you care about and others don't.
So sometimes, like in my case, with visuals, I guess it's easier to see, because maybe you publish something and then there is like something like a bit misaligned or something, and you're like, oh fuck, but no one cares. And with me, with more writing, what I did is like publishing something and then realizing that there is like a typos here or there, and you're like, oh shit, but it's already taking some traction. So, and almost like no one makes a mention of that typo. Like people understand that these things happen, that there are mistakes. Like no one is perfect. So I think that's a really cool stuff too.
Yeah. I don't know what else on the perfectionism.
You used to have, I remember, like when I met you, actually, when I saw you, like your content for the first time on Twitter and so on, you had like a personification of the perfectionism. It was like the perfectionism monster. I remember, and that was pretty cool. It was like this little red thing, if I remember correctly. So why did you decide to, I guess it's because like a common creator struggle, or why did you decide to even like make it a monster, like to make it like an enemy in that sense?
Well, it was more like a character, and the reason why I decided to create it, because I understood when I started to create like my visuals, the theme I was mostly creating about was like creativity and creative
Mhm.
struggles, and of course perfectionism is a very common thing, and it was and still is a very common thing in my work. And yeah, the reason why I decided to create this perfectionist monster was that I really liked, like, one of my all-time favorite TED Talks is by Tim Urban, the guy
Mhm.
who creates Wait But Why blog, and he have this
Yeah.
beautiful TED Talk on and blog post on the procrastination. And there he made characters as well. Like there was this instant gratification monkey and panic monster and some
Yeah.
sort of other characters. And that really inspired me to characterize this perfectionism as a thing as well. So that was the reason I kind of decided, and it was fun if because I created visuals and it's like easy to put in characters there, and it was a cool thing to play around with. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
That's great.
I don't know what else. I kind of final point around the
Mhm.
perfectionism to me. I think there is a lot of these tactics, accountability partners, be consistent, do this, do daily, do weekly, do whatever. But I think the most important thing is really to have some sort of self-awareness and understand, you probably have some sort of goal, either you want to be creative, you want to do this full time, you have some sort of dream, whatever it is, and you are here, and there is some sort of work or things you need to do to get there. And I think it's very important to understand, is perfectionism affecting you in a way that it's really not like moving away you or not inching you
Yeah.
forwards towards the dream or goal or whatever, or you are kind of finding a good balance, you're still making progress and so on. So this is usually how I, because to me still I have a lot of like unfinished threads in my notes, because
Yeah.
I had some sort of idea, I noted some ideas, and then I start to struggle. I can't really like make sense of it or whatever. And yeah, I think over time I sit down, I understand, okay, it's been 2 months, you have not published it, what the hell, that sounds like a big ass excuse instead of
Yeah.
just kind of doing the thing, getting some feedback and improving it later on. So yeah, there is this, I don't know, you need to have some sort of self-awareness and just find
Yeah.
a good balance with all of
So,
this.
yeah. So I guess like the final point too for me will be like, it's not that much about eliminating the perfectionism monster, but it's more like learning to live with it, and taking the good parts of it, which is like, it's pushing me to make good content, good quality, but at the same time, don't letting him or her or whatever you want to personificate it, like pull you down and stop doing the thing. So I guess that's my takeaway from all of this. So that's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, that is a really good point. I love it. We could end on that. I think it's good.
Yeah.
Hmm. Okay. Anything else? Any last thoughts on perfectionism?
Not for me, but maybe from the audience, if anyone struggles with it, maybe they can, like just let them know their experience, because that's always like a great topic to talk about with other creators.
Yeah. Comment below. That would be nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's wrap it up here.